Welcome to the Ave Podcast, where I'm joined by the South Shore Ave family members at this point, especially down the football season, Mr. Carrie Joseph and Mr. Roger Calendar. How you guys doing today, man?
We good. We good over here.
This guy is suited and booted. Feathers flying all over the room.
Of course.
Fly, Eagles fly.
See, he is not a Cowboys fan.
Being a fan.
What?
Now you can boast. Show your colors.
Listen, that was me 12 months ago. What can I say? I can't say nothing. You just this is your world. This is your world right now. This is your moment.
That's it.
This is your moment for the moment anyway. For the moment. But no, man. I mean, look, we had a very interesting week. Before I start, let me match the cold. Hold on, let me match the cold. Yeah, let me match the cold. You can go get your Patriots hat, Roger, if you want.
I feel kind of naked now, man. I almost feel obligated, guy.
Pressure's on.
I'm trying to match what's outside in this like sub-zero weather right now. What's going on here in Eastern Canada or Central Canada, whatever you call it. Quebec and I know Montreal's worse than us right now, right?
It's cold.
It's real cold.
It's like minus, what is it? Like minus like 30 or something like that. Something crazy
with the wind chill. Yeah. It's like minus 15.
Listen,
minus 18.
It'll always be home.
Pardon?
Without the wind chill.
Like between 15 and 20. But that's cold for out here. That's like out west weather, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan weather. This is just normal to them.
It's crazy. One of the reasons why
over 10 years, man, that's regular. Minus 25, soft. To them.
Harry, you lived through that, bro?
I don't know how you did that.
You lived through that, bro?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god!
I can't even handle this weather in Toronto right now anymore. I'm at the point now where I'm like, I need to go somewhere warm. I'm going crazy. And some people are like, minus 25.
You need to touch the beach soon.
Yes, like for good, not like for a week.
That's the exit strategy, man. Find a little piece of land on the beach, man.
What? But not at 65. I want to do that at like 50. Not 70 years old where I can't move no more. You know what I mean? Can barely hold on to my grandchildren. You know, like I don't want that. But yo, man, we're coming off a pretty crazy weekend with the NFL Divisional round, and I know we're gonna preview the championship matches, obviously, because we have to like commit to this suit in the middle here. We got to commit to this fit in the middle. But honestly though. Let's start with the Ravens, man. Let's just get this over with. Let's just start with the Ravens. Let's start with the annual disappointment that is known as the Ravens playoff season. Lamar at least in this Lamar era.
Yeah.
What do you guys have to say? Let's just get this over with, man.
Calvin, every year it seems to be the same thing over and over again. The Ravens find new ways of losing. That's it. Different players don't step up. This year, I mean, Lamar and his 2 fumbles, Andrews with his fumble. This guy hasn't had a fumble all. I haven't seen him fumble. Yeah. I can't even remember the last time this man fumbled the ball.
I know he doesn't.
In the buff, like basically right there in the Buffalo's area, and then at the end of the game, that drop was absolutely brutal. Like this guy catches that ball 99.999% of the time. I don't know what to say anymore, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It was hard to watch.
It's the same thing. Like
it was hard to watch.
When they came out in the game and they were running the ball and they went into I formation, it warmed my heart. So I'm like, okay, this is different.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Lamar played well, but he made mistakes.
He
can't turn over the ball off. And okay, that first interception didn't cost them points, but they didn't score points.
Yeah.
You know, they were driving. They could have got in, scored, but they fumbled. They turned it over. Like, you get Henry. They ran the ball, then they kind of went away from it, and then they went back to it. He had 16 carries, 80-something yards. Why doesn't he have well over 25?
Isn't this what we said last week? I think I even said, I was like, him and Lamar have to run the ball like 35 times. But at least 25 or more, you know, to Henry, to King Henry. Like, I'll tell you, I shouldn't say I missed the game because I was actually playing ball around that time, but we had a TV in the gym so that we could watch the game while we're hooping and stuff, right? Yep. Yeah, so we set that up, and you know, so we're going back and forth watching the game while we're playing and stuff. So when by the time we were done, the fourth quarter was happening. So when we were starting to get ready to leave, I saw the last drive. So I'm like, man, I have no faith this guy's gonna do it. Like Lamar's gonna do it. I just saw the score, and I just saw at that point, because I wasn't watching it full on the whole time. So but it's just my vibe. I was just like, it's snowing. I've seen the turnovers. I actually happened to see all the turnovers, and I'm just like, they ain't got it, man. So luckily I live like maybe like 5 minutes away from the gym, right? So I left when they were about to hike during the final drive. Packed up the car, left. Once I loaded my car and I came inside, I put on the TV. I saw they scored, and I was like, "Oh shoot, they scored!" I'm like, "They did it. They actually came back." I'm like, "Okay, cool," you know. And then I watched. I basically got it right before the 2-point conversion. So when I saw Andrews drop that, I was just like, I wanted to get really mad. But I think after last year, I kind of resigned myself to the fact that, like, I'm not getting my hopes up anymore for the Ravens. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep my expectations here when it comes to the playoffs. And if they exceed it, then it's a bonus. So I just saw it. I was just like, I got mad. I won't lie. I got mad. It's not my team, but I got mad for maybe about a few minutes. And then afterwards, I just said, it's the Ravens, man. This is what they do.
Lamar played well.
I was going to say, they reminded me of
played well.
Yeah,
gave them a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought for sure they were going to overtime because they controlled that whole second half, but they would just shoot themselves in the foot.
Turn the ball over.
Driving, fumble. Driving, drop, pass. Like,
yeah, it was hard. It's hard to watch.
The thing with that Andrews fumble, though, I'm like, why did he just go down? He caught the ball in a good spot. Just either take a few steps forward,
south, man. Just go straight up.
Why did he go east-west?
Yeah,
he was right there. He just had to just take 2 more steps. He probably got a couple of more yards and just go down.
Yeah,
like
that's trying to do too much.
Trying to get cute.
Like,
yeah.
He
tried to be hero. He tried to play hero ball. That's what happened.
Yeah,
and that's not really something that he does either, where he's gonna just pop east west and try to juke guys. I'm like, that's not what he does.
He's got the sure hand, man. He doesn't drop very many passes. If anything, he catches touchdowns. That's mainly what he does. Like, I don't understand
in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I don't get it. He didn't even get started until, like, I think around the 4th or 5th game he started catching actual passes. Before that, it was all likely. That's all he was doing. Like, he was catching all the passes and so on. He came on towards the end of the season. Yes, he has 11 touchdowns, like Kerry mentioned. Like, he's the sure hands. Like, I don't understand. It always seems to be something. Like last year, you remember it was Flowers with that really bad penalty. Like, I don't know. I just, it's like this team is just cursed. They've got so much talent.
And then he got that ball punched out when he was diving into the end zone, right?
Yeah,
last year.
Like it's always something. It's always something with Baltimore.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know, man. It's
tough. But you know what? Even if they get the 2-point conversion, there's over a minute left. Buffalo had like 2 timeouts.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't know.
Anything could have happened. Josh could have got them down into field goal range and kicked the field goal anyway. It's just,
it's football.
Yeah, but it's just a shame though, man. Like, I mean, and it's funny because when you start making that list of like worst playoff blunders of all time, like I saw like about 3 of those this week, just on Twitter alone, and I'm just like, see, that's the stuff you don't want to end up on those lists, man.
It's true.
You don't want to end on those lists, man. And then it reminded me of I forgot about this with the when I think the Ravens played the Pats, and Lee Evans caught that touchdown, and it got knocked out of his hands. It got punched out of his hands when he was in the end zone.
Right.
And then they tried to kick the field goal and they missed. I was probably the most mad then. I was the most angry at that moment because I'm like, come on, like you work because what I remember about that drive too is they worked so hard to get down to that spot, there. Man. They worked so hard, and it was a great defensive play. I can't even get mad at Evans. It was just a great defensive play. Yeah. But I'm like, yo, it's a chip shot. All right, just get it, go to overtime. When that man missed, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah. Oh, that bothered me, man. That bothered me. Listen, and I'm not even a Pats hater. I'm not even a Pats hater either. But that really bothered me.
Some teams just can't handle the pressure, man. I mean, I think that's what makes Kansas City so good. It makes Kansas City, they're the team to beat. And it's because in those high pressure situations, they don't make stupid mistakes. And they capitalize on other people's mistakes. When it comes to the playoffs, all the teams in the playoffs are good. Like, they're all good quality teams. Some of them might have stronger defenses. Some of them might have strong offenses. But in general, they're all good teams. What differentiates them is the turnovers. Like, who messes up in which spots and which team can capitalize on it. And unfortunately, it's like Baltimore, man. They're always up there. They have so much talent, but it seems like in the big moments, somebody drops the ball.
So for Lamar, in his 8 playoff appearances, half of those games, he had multiple turnovers. Yeah. Picks or fumbles. He didn't have, I think he only had one multi-turnover game this whole year.
Damn.
But even that fumble that he got, like, that ball was way out. It was way out. You know what I mean? Like, like you're asking for trouble, especially not weather too. Like, you got to tuck everything in, man.
So that's the thing. It's understanding the weather is bad. I have to be more careful. On a normal day in September, October, I can do a one hand on the field, the hand in my, spin out, juke a guy, go 80 yards. But you're in the playoffs. It's snowing. It's cold. It's icy. Maybe I should just get away and throw the ball away, or tuck the ball and take a sack.
Yeah,
you have to make the right decisions in moments like.
Right.
And one of my favorite sayings is pressure busts pipes or it creates diamonds. What happens under pressure? What are you going to do under pressure?
Facts.
Are you going to rise to the occasion?
Are you going to crumble?
Like Zirconians right now.
And Buffalo played a good game.
They did.
Took it to them. They ran the ball. Josh's stats weren't crazy, but he didn't make mistakes. No turnovers. He didn't hurt his team.
Yeah. But in that weather, I think as a QB, you're not gonna have crazy stats in the weather game like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna throw for 300 yards in the snow. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but it's rare, especially in the playoffs. Like, when it's snowing like that, you're just trying to get that win, man. You're trying to play mistake-free football.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Stafford did that against the number one defense.
He did. Yeah. He did, though. But it's not often that you see that, though. You know what I mean?
No. He's a really good quarterback, man.
So, I mean, do you think, like, Flowers was really missed in this game, or or that didn't even matter? He really was?
No, it mattered.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they
missed explosive plays. He's their best receiver by far.
Yeah.
And he's like a dog, man. He's, like, physical. He's aggressive, like, for a little guy. You could give him a 2-yard pass. He could take it for 20. Like,
he can go to the house if he can.
One-on-one. You're gonna give him one-on-ones on your DBs all day. Like, pick your poison. It hurt, but they still could have won that game. Probably should have won that game in the second half. The way it turned, they dominated that game. That second half.
Yeah. They should have won that game. I mean, missing Flowers, obviously that's a big loss because that is your number one receiver. But I mean, they ran the ball well. Lamar, aside from the turnovers, Lamar still played well, and he still at the end of the game, he still gave them the opportunity to potentially or even win. So I mean, yeah, they missed him, but I mean, they still had their chances. They just they didn't capitalize. I mean, yeah, Buffalo played a good game. I mean, they limited Henry to, I think it was like 16 carries for 87 yards, which for Derrick Henry.
Did they limit him though for the carries? Did you say they limited him though?
16 for 87 for Derrick Henry.
Carries, man. Give me a break. Because he's the kind of guy, you give him, let's say you give him 10 more carries in that game.
He would have been up to 150.
On the 8th or the 9th, that's when he's broken the will of the defense and he goes for 50, 40.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
You know, they don't, that's not committing to the run. Committing to the run is not about how many yards you're getting. It's a physical toll we're putting on you. You have to physically take it and maintain it the whole game. It's an attitude. It's a mentality.
Yeah. Especially I was just going to say, especially in that fourth quarter. That's what they always do so well.
In the cold, snowing, like just pounding him.
Exactly. Nobody wants to tackle this guy. As the game progresses and it gets into the fourth quarter, nobody wants to be the one that's going to tackle this 250-pound man. He's just going to keep banging. He gets stronger as the game progresses. So, I mean,
the one thing Buffalo did that was really smart was that they let all their D linemen just penetrate. They didn't have a gap. Your whole job was just get upfield and like get penetration, because you want to stop Henry from really starting to stride out and build up speed, because that's when it's hard for him to tackle him.
Yeah.
But in his first 4 or 5 steps, that's when you want to hit him. Yeah. So they were just penetrating, forcing him to cut, jump, stop. Then guys would just come in. But they have to do it over and over and over again. And then one time somebody's going to mess up or he's going to run somebody over and then he's gone.
Yeah. But to your point though, like just to telling you guys where I was at last week, once, because we're looking at the game, but I'm not looking at the exact stats, right? So it was only afterwards, like after we're getting dressed, I looked at the stats, or actually when the game was over. Sorry, when I was home when the game was over, and I looked at the stats and I saw 16 carries. I'm like, between that and the turnovers, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see nothing. I don't need to see nothing else. I don't need to see nothing else. Like, this is not like, because like I said, how do we predict, like, or not predict, but how do we carry out, like what their predictions should be, and they couldn't follow through.
Yeah.
Like, again, in the snow, that's what he's built for.
Yeah, that's what they brought.
I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man.
They brought him in for playoffs. That's why they brought him in. They brought him here.
So use him.
Yeah, just use him.
Just use him. Yeah. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody, they're like, yo, Justice Hill, had a great game. I'm like, who cares? Who cares about Justice Hill? I'm like, he should get 2 carries, maybe 3. But I'm like, I know his stats look good though, but I'm like, but who cares? I'm like, that's not what he's like. I don't care about Justice Hill right now. I care about Henry. Yeah. I mean with Lamar, but I'm like, with Lamar at this point, like, does he need playoff meditation, a sports psychologist, a CBAT? What does he need at this point? This is, and not to say he can't bounce back from this. He's young enough, you know what I mean? So I don't want to make it sound like, oh man, his career is over. I'm not going to do that. But I'm just like, at this point, it's like, okay, what does he need to learn? Like, from now until next January, where it's like, okay, these are the things. We obviously turnovers, but I'm like, what is a mental game that he has to play with himself to know, like, I'm not going to be this person again in the playoffs. If I lose, it ain't going to be because I messed up or I made plays that took us out of the game.
Yeah.
Like, what does he have to do? I don't know.
It's a hard question, man. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that, because I can't put that whole game on him. I can't say that he played a especially bad game.
Right.
It just seems like every year it's just a combination of different things that make up the reason why they lose. They're not running the ball.
He's getting better every year.
He is. This year he was throwing the ball like,
great. It's probably the best he's ever thrown the ball.
Absolutely, 100%. So I just can't. I don't know. Pressure.
I definitely think it's gonna click. I thought it would click sooner. But like I said, it doesn't. he gets them to the playoffs. He's got to, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say, man.
You don't want to put it all on him. Do we blame the coach? The coach got to take some of that.
Yeah, he got to take some of that. He has to take some of that because that whole. I mean, we keep talking about it. That whole being too cute nonsense. You know what I mean? Like that's becoming consistent. So that has to be on the coaching staff.
But they did a better job this year.
Sure.
Better than last year, so it's an improvement. But it's just like, come on, y'all.
Just get over the hurdle.
Yeah, it's hard to put it's hard to put the blame on Harbaugh simply for the fact that Andrew fumbling that ball is not something that normally happens.
Right.
Andrew, who drops that pass for the 2-point conversion at the end, doesn't normally happen. Like, I mean, I don't know. Even the fumble from Lamar and the interception, they still had the opportunity to win. It's not like they were blown out. It wasn't as if they were always down throughout the whole game. Like, there were opportunities. Can you blame them for not running Henry enough? Probably. But I mean, aside from that, I don't know, man. It's so weird with this team. It's like I want the team to win. I'm cheering for them, but damn.
You know. And we're this frustrated. We're not even Ravens fans. That's the funny thing.
No,
we're not even Ravens fans.
I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. Like,
that's it.
And the funny thing is, historically, I've always liked Baltimore. From like beginning of Ray Lewis era, Jamal, like all them guys until now. Like,
come on now,
yeah,
Lewis.
Yeah, I've always had like a deep respect for that team. Always, you know what I mean. So this is the next.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, like this is the next iteration of it.
Old school.
And again, it's tough.
Defenses.
Yeah, always have good defenses, like legendary defenses. And it's tough now because I'm like, now you got a quarterback that's like, I mean, he's most likely going to win his third MVP. You know, so this, you know, it's not going to sit well. Like, it's going to be kind of like when Dirk won in 2007 the NBA MVP, and then he lost in the first round to Golden State. And it's like you're getting that trophy, and it's like, you know, you flopped in the playoffs. So it's like that MVP almost doesn't mean anything, you know. But at least he's got like multiple ones, though. Like, he's gonna go down in history. But I just want to see him just like, we needed to see him play Kansas City. Like, all respect to Josh Allen, you know what I mean? Yeah, like all respect. Yeah, in Kansas City, like all respect to Josh Allen, man. But man, come on, man. Like that's not what we was trying to see. That's not what we were doing. That's not what we were doing. With that said, though, like with the 4 losing teams now, where do these teams go from here?
It's hard to say. I mean, especially when you look at, like, for instance, Detroit. Detroit's a perfect example of a team.
We talked about that last week too, right? Somebody mentioned that last week too about Detroit.
They're a victim of their success because now already their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, he's gone to Chicago as the head coach. Their defensive coordinator,
Aaron
Glenn, he's gone to the Jets. He's the head coach for the Jets. Their assistant coach, who was their D-line coach, has gone to the Patriots. He's now the defensive coordinator over there. All their leadership has basically gone out the door. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to them next year.
How they replace it, especially offensively, because I mean, Ben Johnson for the last 2 years he's been doing an amazing job. He kind of changed offensively. He really changed that culture in Detroit.
His offense is
he did. His creativity and his play calling. I mean, it's one of the reasons why they were such a good team. So I don't know who they're going to get to mimic that or, I don't know, succeed him, you know?
I bet you they go like internally, a quarterback coach or receiver coach, give him a shot. He knows the offense, kind of just run some of the stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to bring in somebody to change it. You
can't revamp. Really?
But they got to bring in. You can't roll in anybody into that offense and then change it.
Yeah,
because know the guy before offense was amazing. You got to bring in an amazing coach to win over those players, man.
Yeah, it's a tough loss. Yeah.
It's crazy that Dan Campbell now seems like he has a coaching tree, but you want that coaching tree to at least be the result of having at least a championship, right?
Yeah,
that's normally how it goes. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was so dynamic. Yeah, it was so dynamic that it ended up being created anyway, even in a loss.
That's true.
You know, but we did talk about that last week. Like that, they're gonna lose. They're definitely gonna lose a couple of coaches. You know what I mean? Like they're almost too good this year.
That stuff makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Coaching matters. Coaching matters.
It does, and you're are you going to change the scheme?
Yeah,
man, you got these guys learning something new. It's not saying they can't do it, but don't tell me you're going to be as good the first year you're doing something as opposed to 2 years doing the same thing.
Right.
It's just going to be better.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I mean, it's funny because I mean, as much as we were talking about the Ravens, I feel like them and Houston probably have the best chance to come to at least to run this back. You know what I mean? Just Houston definitely, because unless there's certain moves that's made in the offseason, their division is not strong. It's probably one of the weaker ones in the league. And then Baltimore, just because they've been there, but I mean their division is tough. Like their division is there's a lot of tough divisions in there, between the Steelers always being there depending on what they do, but they're always there, as you guys know. And then again, if Cincinnati solves that slow start, like they're going to be competing
if I had to put money on it, I'd say Baltimore is winning that division.
Yeah, I would say so too. But at least
Houston, all they got to do is throw money at the offensive line and draft some offensive linemen. Everything else is good. Maybe add another weapon. Like I would just re-sign Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Put him on another 1 year. You have Nico Collins, you have John Mechie, you have Schultz, Mixon. I think Stroud will be better next year.
Losing Delaware
defense, Hunter and Anderson and Shahir and Stingley. It's a young defense.
Yeah.
They don't have to do much. They have to protect Stroud. They have to throw everything at that offensive line. The offensive line, he was running for his life against Kansas City.
But I'm like, with losing Dell though, will Dell even be back by the start of the season? Because I figured that was what did he do again? He tore his ACL, everything, right?
It was a knee injury, yeah.
Yeah, that's you tore everything. Like I know ACL and MCL, I think at least, right?
Yeah, it was
PCL too.
So he literally did everything.
He tore up his knee. Yeah, completely.
So and that was late in the season too.
They have receivers. I don't even weapons aren't their problem.
Yeah, and Mixon will be back.
Mixon will be back, and he's tough. And, good defense. They're going to be a solid team.
Yeah.
Unless Stroud keeps regressing, I don't see that, man. I think
stay away from Amber Rose. Stay away from Amber Rose.
Single and hungry, King. Single and hungry.
Houston's a good place to be single. Stay that way. Let James Harden take you under his wing. But like, and even with the Rams, like the Rams will be interesting too. It depends on what they're gonna do. But because I know Cooper Kupp's getting up there a little bit. He's getting up there a little bit, but he's still tough. But hey, I'd run it back too. Listen. We were trying to tell you what we even do, but and you know what? I don't even blame you. I'm not throwing this in your face because I would be just as biased as you if I was the Niners. You couldn't tell me nothing. I'd be like, our offensive line, nothing's getting through this offensive line. Like, they had 16 sacks in 2 games.
Yeah,
that's
impressive.
Beyond impressive. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were impressive.
That is crazy. Is crazy. And Philly's offensive line is really, really good. Like, it's great.
Yeah, but that's a lot of those sacks came when Hurts was compromised with the knee, the conditions, and he was holding the ball. Like, a lot of those sacks were covered sacks. And then he just didn't break the pocket and run like he normally would.
I mean, he even took a safety.
Yeah. No, that safety was bad. First of all, they should have ran the ball on that play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was ridiculous. Your quarterback's compromised and you're throwing a drop back pass in the end zone. And you can tell it was like he dropped back and it was like, okay, I'm gonna break out. And then he realized, oh, I can't break out. My knee hurts.
Yeah.
So then it was like he was stuck in no man's land, but he had Saquon on the check down, right? Like,
yeah, you should just toss it to him real quick.
No, they pass rush. Jared Verse is a beast.
Man,
Yes.
He's a beast. He knocked down Mekhi Becton like on a stunt. It was impressive.
He put him on his ass.
But I mean,
Yeah.
pass
And that
Yeah.
pass
even
rushing wasn't the problem.
yeah.
Stopping the run was the problem.
stopping the run was the problem.
Yeah.
And that's twice this season
That's
that he went insane on them.
Too honey.
He almost put up 400 yards on the season just against that one team in those two meetings. Like
Yeah.
he went off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even with that Jalen Hurts injury.
With the Rams?
Yeah. And add some pieces. They might trade what's his name? Cooper Kupp, maybe, because they almost traded him before the trade deadline this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's going like $23 million against the cap or something like that.
Oh, he's more than that.
That's why.
He's like in the 30s.
Is it 30? Okay, maybe it was 32 million.
Because you know when they like they pay the money up front, so the back end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the problem. Is like this year they gave him some money up front, but now it's like
Time
the
to
money
pay
due.
They're like, you ain't finishing that contract.
35, and they're like, oh, we have Puka.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a team that they just draft receivers. They're just good at drafting receivers. Certain
Yeah.
organizations just draft certain positions well. They're like, we're gonna find another one of you guys. Like,
Yeah.
that's how they
Sure.
see it.
Yeah.
But they have weapons. They have a young running back. I mean, Matthew Stafford at what point? But he's playing great.
Yeah.
He's
You gotta
still
keep him
playing
right.
good, high level.
Yeah.
You could get at least another 2-3 years out of him.
Hey, Cup, if you don't want to feel disrespected by your team, not paying you your money, dancing all in the videos, come to San Fran. Come to San Fran. We'll take you. We'll take you. No problem.
You might not be able to afford him.
No, I know.
You gotta pay Purdy. How much do you pay Purdy?
Based on some of the accomplishments he had, you're gonna have to pay him at least 40. Well, how much will quarterbacks go for that? Like 50?
Try 60.
Yeah.
No,
Well, that's Dak, and you can't even count that. That's Dak, and
He's probably gonna go for around 55, I think.
he's probably gonna go there at least 50. But I think that's gonna be an extension though, right? That's gonna be an extension, like not like it won't kick in for this season, like this upcoming season. So
No,
they probably have.
his contract is up. His contract is up this year, man. I think they have to renew it. So whatever he's looking at, he's looking at least 50 million. I'm thinking more 50 to 55, just because his accomplishments. So I mean, I don't know. They're already talking about Deebo Samuels. They're talking about so many guys that they're probably gonna have to drop because of that.
I mean, it's interesting. They're in an interesting position because they paid Ayuk that money, but then Ayuk tore everything in his knee too. So he's probably not going to be ready. You know, even if he does come back early, like it's not going to be the same.
Did he do it early though?
No, probably like midway through the year.
It was around 6. It was early.
Midway. It was like midway through the year. I think it was because remember he missed the first couple of games too, right? So like it was like midway through the year he did it. But so that's something like, do you keep Deebo? You know what I mean? Like you probably got one more year with Deebo, with Kittle. Like the is that Ricky Purcell, whatever his name is, like that kid.
He's good though.
He's a good replacement.
They picked him up in the first round.
He's good.
No, he's not Deebo, but
he was their number one pick.
Yes, he was first round pick, right?
It was for a reason.
They were preparing to lose one of those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why wide receiver in the first round.
It's the business of football, though. You know how this goes. When you have a good quarterback young, you know eventually you're gonna have to pay him his money. He made the Pro Bowl. He was like all pro last year. So when you saw that, you're like, yeah, whatever the top 5 contract he's gonna get at least that. It's the cost of doing business.
Yeah, we're gonna find out if he's like a dude that's gonna try to get as much as he can, or if he's gonna say, hey, you know what, let me do the Tom Brady. I'm gonna take a little bit for you to get me some. Like But I understand a player want to get his money. If you could get your money, get it. But at some point, what's a couple million to get you a good receiver? Like,
but
another offensive lineman,
it's a tough position though, because NFL, them contracts aren't guaranteed, man. So like,
but these quarterbacks are getting like 20, 30 million.
That's the thing. Quarterback is the one position where they're almost like bulletproof from that,
regardless of their performance.
Yeah, they're almost bulletproof from that. So that's the one position where you could kind of do that, because you'll probably get it in the back end, especially if you're still doing your thing. And with him too, you got to think, right? Last player drafted in the draft that year, he's making like $900,000 a year in the Bay, which is like, that's good money, but he's not living in a penthouse.
They're taking at least half.
Yeah, they're taking at least half. Like he might be driving the Benz. It's definitely used. It's like 100% used. It might be 2020 at the newest. You know what I mean? With that sound, because you're not trying to spend. Like you hear people, like especially in Silicon Valley, you hear stories of people making like six figures and they're living in the parking lot, at Google. You know what I mean? Like while they're working there. Like you hear those stories. Like Silicon Valley area is expensive, and so you know what I mean. So you're the starting quarterback making $900,000. Oh, I can't necessarily blame him if he's like, run me all of my money, all of my money. But you want to keep that team a certain way too. It's the best way to contend, right? So especially that division, which is kind of strong, like it's secretly kind of strong.
It is strong, and they should sign Salah back as the DC.
I actually think he's going to be he's going to get a head coaching position.
Really?
We're talking about him potentially being the head coach for Jaguars, Jacksonville. Supposedly he went in for a second interview for Jacksonville. So who knows?
That'd be interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. Trevor Lawrence needs something though. Like I kept hearing. I'm not I didn't. I don't watch college football like that. But I've been hearing about Trevor Lawrence for years. Like this phenom. Like the next Peyton Manning, all this stuff, and it's like you can see the talent, but like we're still waiting. No, there's talent. I'm not knocking him. There's talent, but like you're still.
I don't know what it is. Like you said, he has all the tools. Like he's like the prototypical quarterback, 6'6", good, strong Christian kid. You know what I mean? Like.
He's sunshine.
Golden locks, like
man, he's sunshine.
3 days in school, team captain. You know what I mean? Like, and he's made big plays in crunch time.
Yeah.
In college, he did.
Yeah, and we got to forget they went to the playoffs too. The Jaguars did go to the playoffs. Like, was it like last year or 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago. But they did make a playoffs. It's not that they went far, but they did under his watch. You know what I mean? So,
but I
don't know.
I'll just keep on repeating, sounding like a broken record. It's just protect your quarterback, because look, he was hurt, right? Protect your quarterback. They get these great quarterbacks, and I understand you want to get them weapons, but you got to protect them first. Like the first step should be fortify the line, and then get some weapons. Like
100%, weapons should come later. You could always get weapons.
Everything on his shoulders, and then he's running around trying to make plays because they're losing, and he's the savior, and then he gets
decapitated.
Takes too many hits,
depleted. Everything.
I.e. Caleb Williams. You know what I mean? Like. Darnold came to the league.
Andrew Luck,
perfect example. Yep.
That's what made Andrew Luck so special, is that he took a beating and was still great.
Yeah.
That is super rare. He took a beating.
Yeah, but
usually
that's also the reason.
Take a beating. Eventually, it's over. Like you become scared in the pocket, and it's over.
And that's one of the reasons why he retired. He literally said the reason why he retired was because he was getting tired of rehabbing every single offseason. He's like, relaxing, vacationing. He's rehabbing constantly just because of the amount of hits he took in the regular season. Like, I mean, you have to protect your quarterback. That should be the first thing that you do. Regardless, yeah, you need a running back. Yes, you need a wide receiver. You need all those things. But if your quarterback is constantly on his back, then what's the point? He can't throw passes if he's staring down, staring up at the sky every 2 seconds, or he's getting injured, or it doesn't make any sense. Like, your running back isn't going to be as good as he has to be if your O-line isn't properly blocking for him. You could have Saquon Barkley in the backfield, but if he's on the Patriots and they're getting penetrating, the defense is penetrating every second, what's he going to do? If anything, Saquon taught us that when he was with the Giants.
Yep.
Look at Saquon right now. This is how Saquon should have played. This is how Saquon should be. How he's with the Giants goes to show you what happens when you don't put an O-line. You don't fortify the O-line around your quarterback or your running back. You know, look at Saquon. He's balling. He's going to ball. I'm pretty sure he's going to take them right to the Super Bowl this year.
He should be the MVP.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He should. I was going to say, not to be old school, but imagine Barry Sanders with Philly's O-line.
Man.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He might have ran for 2,500 yards.
This guy was crazy. Yeah.
Just switch Barry and Emmett. Just switch them.
Always,
for a couple of years. Like,
and it's no knock to Emmett because Emmett was tough too.
Good, but he ain't Barry Sanders.
He ain't Barry.
Sanders against that O-line, he would have put records to bed. No one will ever catch.
Yeah, nobody would. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I mean, and he almost did do that too if he decided to stay another year or two. He almost did that. Anyway, you know what I mean? With that line, like that's, yeah. But you're right though. Like you're spot on. You have to. I remember we used to talk about this years ago, Roger, with Andrew Luck, because I used to be like, why won't they invest? Like after this guy would take all these hits, I'm like, just spend money. Why won't Jim Irsay spend money on this line?
It's not
just
pretty.
do it.
It's not sexy. Getting old linemen is not sexy.
It was so annoying.
Not sexy. They'd rather go after the big wide receiver, the big running back, the big tight end. But I mean, what's the point? What is the point? Your
franchise player retires retires in the middle of his prime, like I'm done, and never looks back.
Yeah,
I would never wrong him for doing that. Honestly, you made your money. Enjoy your life, bro. Enjoy your life.
And now he's a GM getting NIL money for these Stanford students, Stanford student athletes. Like, went back to his alma mater. But I'm like, to be honest, he probably should still be playing if we had a good old line.
Isn't he coaching somewhere now?
No, as I said, he's a GM, general manager.
That's it.
General manager of the of the Stanford athletic program. To deal with all this NIL money.
Yeah, that's cool.
This NIL stuff is just. I mean, that's a whole other podcast, but that is insane.
It's pretty.
Like they're hiring general managers just for that now. Like that's where we are with college sports.
As it should be, though.
As it should be. Way overdue. Way overdue. It's the Wild West, though.
It's Wild West. It's wild. Man. There's definitely need to be some more structure, but
there will be probably in a few years. But right now, this is like the prime time. Man, I wish I was like 20. I wish I was like 19, 18 years old right now. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Because just knowing that depending on the school you go to, you can make 6 figures. Like, you can make a mill. I mean, before we move to the next topic, there's I forgot the kid's name in high school. AJ, I can't pronounce his last name. He's going to play for BYU next year, like basketball, and he's getting $7 million next year to play.
Wow.
And BYU is not an athletic school, like not athletic school, but not a basketball power. But they got the number 1 kid that's probably going to be the number 1 pick in the draft, like in 2026. Because he was like, I'm not going to any school for nothing less than $5 million.
Wow.
I'm like, that's where we are right now. That is where we are right now. Yeah. The boosters, that money is real, man. They got it. That's to tell you. Like that's how much money they make. They got it. They got it. Like there was a bidding war for that. It wasn't even like, oh, we out of here. It's like, oh, okay, that's what we talking. Okay. Call Roger. Call Roger Calendar III. Let's call the bank a calendar. Let's go.
I think it was Quinn Ewers, because I remember reading an article. Quinn Ewers from Texas. He was debating whether he should go into the draft or not because supposedly he has like a year left of eligibility, and he would have been able to make $5 to $10 million in college without even setting foot in the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the opportunity's there, man, and it's always been there. They should have done this a long time ago. They make so much money
off of them.
So much money off the back of these athletes, stealing their likeness and so on. Like, and they don't get anything for it. Like, you get an education, which is
especially
great.
Football.
Come on,
especially football. Like Texas, University of Texas has their own ESPN channel for years.
Yeah.
These stadiums. Some of these stadiums are fancier than the NFL stadiums.
They're bigger. Some of these ones are bigger.
And they have more fans. Like college football is so huge. Like it's massive. You go to a place like Texas, and that's what they do in Texas. They play football.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's crazy.
The restrictions they used to put around the athlete.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You can't have a job. You can't make money off of the school.
It's a violation if you get a slice of pizza from a booster.
Sign autographs to make money. Like, why can't you sign autographs to make money? Like, what does that have to?
It's insane.
That's the crazy part.
Yeah, I remember some of these athletes were on not food stamps, but something like some of them didn't have enough money, didn't have enough food to eat because they weren't getting enough vouchers. Like, I mean, you have NFL quality players that are playing for you. You're taking their likeness. You're selling jerseys. You're selling tickets to these huge stadiums.
On the back.
You're paying coaches 10, 15 million. Like you're paying them like
video games.
Salaries. Exactly. Video games. These guys are hungry and they can't afford a meal. Like really?
And the NCAA was so stubborn that they stopped making NCAA the football. Like, we're not paying you. Okay, we'll just not make the game anymore if you guys want money. Like, really, guys?
And now they're gonna. And now you're hearing that they may bring it back.
It's already back. They came out this year.
They came out this year, right? Yeah, and so they're probably gonna have to split that somehow with the players.
No, they gave them like a copy of the game. Anybody who wanted to be in the game, they gave them a copy of the game and like a lump sum of money.
Yeah. But can you imagine? I can play myself in the game, and I don't get a dime from it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's inherently wrong.
And they give him a copy of the game. Thanks for the free game where I can see myself in it.
Yeah, and shoot like Benny Hill, like go, get out of here, go, take the game, get out of here, go play it in your room.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, let's get to the crux, man. Let's get to this NFL Championship weekend. These preview games right now. We'll save the Eagles for last, just so this guy can just
save the best for last.
Just let the feathers just fly around the room some more. Well, we'll start with Buffalo and Kansas City. Like, do you believe in Buffalo beating Kansas City twice in the season? I'm gonna do this while I change my hat attire. Hold on. Go ahead.
He's sweating under there.
It's getting a little. Oh, okay. Is that for Buffalo? Is that what it is?
It's cold, man. It's cold. I'm trying to match the weather.
Man, Kansas City is a tough place to play.
It is. It's a hard place to play.
But and even last week, the special teams made plays to help win the game. Yeah. Mahomes was having a decent game, but he didn't throw away the game. He made plays when he needed to. Kelsey came up big. Karlaftis and the defense balled out. And their special teams, they block a kick. They started the game with a 60-yard kickoff return. Like Roger said, they always make the plays to win the game.
Make the plays.
And you have to play perfect football to beat them. And when Buffalo played them, there was injuries. It was in their house.
And still only won by 3.
Yeah.
They only won by 3.
I mean, I think there's a chance, of course. I think there's definitely a chance. If Josh Allen runs the ball well, if Cooks ends up running the ball well, I think there's obviously a chance. But, I mean, KC, man, they're a hard team to beat. Like Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills will have to play like a mistake-free game.
Yes.
And I don't know, man. Maybe if somebody covers Kelsey, maybe they'd have a chance. Who knows? See? Just like the last game, once again, Kelsey's running for like a 60-yard touchdown in the middle of the field. Nobody on Kelsey. Who's covering this guy? I don't know. But if they decide to cover Kelsey, maybe they will have a chance to win the game. We'll see.
Man, I don't know about this one. I want Buffalo to win, but if I have to put money on it, I'm saying KC.
How can you not, man? I mean, I'm dying.
Josh Allen has to be the man, and everybody has to play a perfect game.
Yeah. Their defense has to step up. All facets, all areas, all units have to step up in order for them to beat them. KC in the playoffs are hard, man. They're a hard draw. They're a hard draw in Kansas City. God, I mean, I'm not even talking about the ball last.
If Buffalo could get the ball last, drive down and score, kick a field goal, and not let Mahomes get the, you know what I mean? As long as you have a chance with the ball at the end, you can't give Mahomes the ball at the end. And Andy Reid, they're
and I mean,
come through.
And I mean, historically, I mean, they did that. They did that a few years ago in the playoffs, and they had the last chance and they scored, and they left them 13 seconds, and that was too much time.
That wasn't the last chance. That wasn't the last. I mean,
that was too much time.
Yeah.
I mean, that offense was way more explosive though, but holy cow, like that to me is crazy. 13 seconds into that was not enough time. That was too much time, I should say. Too much time.
Listen, if anybody can, it would be Josh Allen and the Bills. You know, if anybody has a chance to beat him, I would say it would be the Bills. But I don't know. Like I wouldn't put my money on the Bills. I hope they're gonna win, but I wouldn't put my money on it. Kansas City they just have this will to win. It's like, you know, a lot of people want to blame the refs and say that they get all the calls, which sometimes they do. But I mean, even if you take out the bad calls, they still play especially well, especially in the playoffs. It's like everybody's game just heightens because they know that they're in the playoffs and they're this close to the Super Bowl. You know, I'd like to see them win, but I don't know. Might be a little too much for Josh Allen. We'll see.
Buffalo is tough, man. The defense is good. Josh Allen's playing at MVP level. They have enough intangibles to do it. They probably have more fans, more casual fans rooting for them this time because, you know, they want to see the dynasty get crushed down the rubble at least for this season. All the energy's there.
Yo.
And yet my answer is still no. It's still no.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like Kansas City right now they have this aura, man. And I'm not saying like they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not even saying that they're going to win. But just to get there, they just have this. All season has been like this, from teams missing field goals at the end of games to them blocking punts at field goals at the end of games, last second plays. Just we've seen everything. They've ran the gauntlet, and the thing is too with like teams in sports, like you hate to play those teams that can beat you in any way, and you know what I mean. Like there's any type of. They can win any way and like any way type possible, whether it's a blowout, whether it's a close game. You know, they go through all those ranges and they can still pull out victories. Like those are the teams you don't really want to see. No. But now you have a team like this that's won back-to-back and has that pedigree. They have that reservoir of confidence. Like and they're at home. Like you don't want to see. And again, and we keep saying this team is not like we've seen better KC teams. We all have. But we're still not willing to bet our money on it.
No.
It's true. Yeah. It's true.
Money line or the spread. We still don't want to do it. Unless you're a Buffalo fan. You know what I mean? Like
what is the spread? Do you know what the spread is?
I'm gonna check. I'll check. I'm not sure actually, but I'll check right now.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I will check right now actually. But it's scary, man. Like
-2 or 3 for
I'd say it's probably around 3 points, I'd say. Yeah, they're at home.
Spread is 1.5.
Oh wow, 1.5. Oh shoot.
Yeah, it's 1.5. So they expect. I mean, it's going to be a close game. Like we kind of know how this is going to go. Like their games, anytime they played each other in the playoffs in this Mahomes era, the games are usually good. It's close.
Yeah. With the controversial call thrown in here or there somewhere.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear Mahomes say that he feels like the refs, they don't get favoritism from the refs?
The refs are his boys.
And then he looks at the camera and goes,
oh my God.
He's the new Tom Brady. The league is going to protect him
at all costs.
At all costs. And I heard like the phrasing of the rule, like of roughing the passer. They have language in there where it's like, even if it's close or you're not sure, throw it anyway.
Yeah.
Throw the flag anyway. So any hit on a quarterback that's even remotely could be a flag, they are told to throw the flag. That is a mandate from the league.
And he does a great job of baiting them into it.
He does. He really does.
The Texans, you're hitting this guy up high because you want to hurt him. As a defense, you want to hurt him, but you know where the strike zone is. I don't feel bad for Houston.
I don't know, man. Some of those calls, Barry, like when he was like at one point when he was scrabbling around, he was a runner.
I agree.
And then he kind of slinked down, and then he didn't even get hit. Like those guys hit each other. The two defensemen hit each other, and they still called it.
This is the problem, though. They're leading with your head. If you take a posture of leaning with your helmet, they're gonna call a flag. It's what it looks like. If it looks like you're going in to hit him with the head, and then you don't, to them, it's close. It looks like you almost hit his head. I'm throwing a flag. Don't even have your head anywhere near his head.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, that's what it is. So you're just gonna do getting flags all the time?
No, but it's also different. You and I, we both played football. We know that if you're tackling a guy, sometimes you put your head down, and if the guy drops at the same time, he puts his head down too. You're going head on head. Like it's hard to stop yourself midway, especially with him because he's kind of tricky. Like he'll be running, and all of a sudden he'll just take a dive right in front of you. Or for instance, when he was running out of bounds and he was still like half a yard out of bounds, he slows down to take that bump, and then he goes flying out as if somebody like really hit him, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're literally
He does do that. He plays it up because he knows, right? He knows. Like, come on, some of those penalties, I didn't feel bad for them. I know, I actually think the league needs to talk about it in the offseason. Like, you can't be a quarterback dancing around, and then in the last second, you're ducking.
I agree.
But as a defender, don't put your head nowhere near his head. Just land on him flat, no helmet. But these guys went in with their helmets because they want to hurt him. And I understand why. Because if you hurt him or you bruise him, that's how you win the game.
Yeah.
So, right? Yeah. Just don't complain about it. That's my you're doing that to hurt him, man. You're just let me get a nice little piece of hair on his head, right?
The instincts are kicking in at that point.
But that's where that maturity and understanding, hey man, this is the playoffs.
You can't be doing that.
I can't have 15-yarders. I'm gonna play hard, but if it's the quarterback, I need to keep my head out of it.
Yeah,
that's what good.
This isn't the time to go head hunting.
No, he will get those calls. If you slap him on his head, he will get it. He will get it. Like nowhere near his head. You gotta stay away from him.
As a defense court, you're not gonna get mad at that defender. Let's just say when he was doing that run down the sideline, and he got pushed out of bounds, and then he flailed. In that situation, you can't get mad at that defender. That's you did your job. He was still in bounds. You pushed him. The ref thought you pushed him out of bounds, whatever, man. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, they gotta look at that, man. They gotta look at that because I don't see Lamar Jackson getting calls like that. I don't see a lot of players getting calls a lot of quarterbacks don't get those calls. And I get it. It's the Brady effect. I mean, Brady had the same effect. You couldn't even breathe on him. I get that.
My thing is, if you slide late, it's whatever happens to you, man. You got to.
Well, that's it. And that's what it boils down to. You're a runner. Yeah, you need to protect yourself. You should be responsible.
You can't allow the quarterback to like get as much yards as he can
and then fake
himself up. You're giving yourself up for a reason, so you don't get hit.
Exactly.
You can't award them the extra yards. No, you're giving yourself up because you don't want to get hit. If you want to get the extra yards, it's football. You're gonna get hit, right? Like that's my issue with the whole hitting the quarterback thing.
Listen, I remember a couple games during the regular season where he faked like he was going to slide, and then he got right back up and he started running, and the defensive players were like, they didn't know what to do. Should we hit him? Should we push him out of bounds? Like, what should we do? And it's like
I almost feel like a quarterback should get a penalty for that.
Yeah, it's almost like flopping in the NBA.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
what are you supposed to do for that?
Well, that's it.
No, it's a problem. It's not fair to defenders, for real.
No, not at all.
It's not. No, I agree with that. It's not fair.
Not at all. Mm-hmm. So everybody's in agreement. Basically, it's Kansas City's heading back to the Super Bowl. They're going to what's the Super Bowl? New Orleans. They go to New Orleans.
Well, listen, I
don't even know why you signed for it. You've been dealing with this for 20 years.
I know.
You need to control your breathing, Roger. you have no right to sit there taking sides.
I'm going with my original pick of Buffalo, but that's because that's what I want.
Calvin, I just don't want to have that three-peat. That's what I don't want.
That's my thing. I don't want them to get it. I don't want it to get it. I'll be the hater. I don't know why.
I want that three-peat, man. It's never been done before. I don't want them to be the ones to do it.
Yeah, and it's a black quarterback too, and I'm just like, no.
It hurts my soul to say that. It really does.
You've had enough.
The sad thing is, I mean, it doesn't. You would think it would bother me, but it doesn't bother me. Like, look, even the Patriots, when they were having their run and everybody was getting pissed off, they didn't bother me either. Like, you would think it would. Normally it would, but for some reason I like the Patriots. The Patriots didn't bother me that much. You know, like did they get all the calls like Mahomes is getting now? Absolutely. You couldn't even dive near Brady. You dove near Brady, you're getting a flag. Like, forget his headshots. You dive close to his leg, and it was bad. You were getting a flag. You're getting 15 yards, and I hated that. But it's like, you know, he's the machine, man. That's filling the coffers of all these teams in the league and everybody else. So it's like you can't have Brady missing a season like I think he did 1 year.
2014. Yeah. Listen, the one thing I can say about Brady. One thing I can say about Brady is he earned those. He earned that. Because in his earlier seasons, this guy was getting killed. Have you ever seen, true. Like, I was just looking at YouTube just the other day when they had a whole bunch of crazy hits, like the craziest hits from the past, like, 20 years. And Brady had, like, 5 or 6 of them, like, knocking off his helmet. And he was like, yeah, think of the generation he grew up with the Ed Reed, the Ray Lewis.
That's what I was about to say too. That's part of the problem, right? It's the era that he came up in.
Yeah, they don't make him like that anymore, man. Those guys
played past 40. Like, man, this is easy.
Exactly. That's why he's so long. 45, no problem.
And I'll always say this. Yes, my bias is showing here. Can you imagine if Joe Montana played till he was 45? What the hell kind of records he would have had?
Yeah,
like quarterbacks were not allowed to play. You couldn't function past 30. You could barely function past 35.
No, some of the hits these guys took. Oh my god,
those lines were legal.
Yeah, it's. Oh my god, some of them were just plain assault. It was just plain assault on the football field, man.
I mean, they had to change it up, but it's like it feels like it's going too far.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's bad.
Problems. And I get it, because when you have all your quarterbacks injured and all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of second stringers playing, that's not a draw. People don't really want to watch that. So I get why they're protecting them, but I think they just went a step too far, and that's the problem. Like, it's still football. You can't turn it into touch football.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 steps too far. Because some of these calls sometimes, man, I'm like, but I thought that was hilarious. When Mahomes said that, I was like, wow, man, you playing that game good.
Oh, he knows what's up.
That
He
game
ain't trying to
good.
piss off the
I was saying too. I would do the same thing too. He's playing it smart. He's like, oh, I'm gonna continue getting these calls on Sunday. I'm not messing that up.
Yep.
Philly and the Commanders. Carrie, I'll start with you. Where do you think this is going? How much pressure is it on Philly to win it all?
What kind of question is that?
How much pressure is it on Philly to win it all?
Pressure?
Yeah.
I don't think there's no pressure.
You don't think there's no pressure?
No pressure, man.
There's pressure on them now.
Why?
Well, really and truly, them and the Lions are probably the two favorites, really and truly, that was expected to come out of the conference. And now with the Lions out the way, you got home field advantage. I mean, the one thing I will say though is, this is a legendary. Forget the name change. This is a legendary division rival. And they're in a division where they're a rival against every team in the division. You know what I mean? So to meet your division foe for a third time,
yeah,
you just don't know what's gonna happen, man. Like you know what I mean? Like it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. The expectation is Philly's gonna win. You know, and everybody's the bettors and whatever it is, it was all lining up to say that. Most people are saying that. But they split that series, mind you. The second game they did concuss Hurts,
and Hurts is compromised right now.
Yeah.
You don't know how bad. I think that's to me is a huge issue. Like,
for sure,
if he's not able to run, I think it's a problem.
It's a problem.
But I still think they're good enough to beat them. Just him, because they're gonna have to try to stop Saquon.
Yeah. Saquon is I find that Saquon is definitely he's going to be the X factor. If they could slow down Saquon, or if they could stop, I don't think
that's what they have to do. You have to slow him down, at least not give him big explosive runs. The problem with the second game they played, they were moving the ball up and down, and then Hurts got hurt, and you could tell Washington is just like, okay, I'm going to stack the box. Saquon still had over 100 yards, but he had to work because Pickett was in there.
Yeah.
And even Pickett was able to make throws, and they should have won that game. If Devontae Smith makes a catch, the game's over.
That's right. That's true.
The game's over.
Yeah. He dropped the pass.
And, Jaden Daniels got more reps, more drives, because the Eagles were going like 3 and out with Pickett. He had more time with the ball, but that's the Eagles. The way the Eagles play is that we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. If you try to stop it, we have two number one receivers and a tight end. Our defense is not going to give up big plays. They're going to make you drive the field. Like that. That's the formula. I know who the team is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Jalen Hurts can't turn over the ball, like a few of those sacks last game is just because everybody was covered, and he's like, you know what, I'm just going to eat it. Like, he's playing winning football. He's not trying to force the ball. He's not trying to make a mistake. You know what, I'll take this sack. We'll punt it. Our defense will get us the ball back, or Saquon's going to go 70. His stats aren't great, but he made no mistakes. He made the safety was a mistake. He started off the game with a 40-yard run. That's where it's scary, because you're taking away the aspect of the offense if he can't run. If he could just run a little bit, where he could run some zones and get like 10 yards, first downs, I think they're just going to keep Jaden Daniels off the field. They're not going to give him a chance. But he's scary, because the way the Eagles play defense, they don't really like to use a spy and stuff. Mobile quarterbacks can do their thing if the pass rusher doesn't get, the pass rush doesn't get them. But what about Jalen Carter, man?
Great game we played last week, though, too. Holy cow.
Yeah, he was on fire, man. It's going to be a good game.
Record.
Yeah.
And it's funny, too. I think I was texting you when it happened, because I was like, man, remember we were telling Carrie that this front four of the Rams, I think I was just texting that, and it's the moment I sent you that text, Jalen Carter punched that ball out. Just went. I think the next text message sent you was Jalen Carter.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. It's definitely gonna be a good game. I mean, I obviously give the Eagles the edge, but yeah, Hurts being injured, they're gonna send they're probably gonna stack the box. They're probably gonna try and send everything.
I think he's the X factor.
Yeah, like it depends on how well he plays, man. Because and when division rivals, it's always hard. Yeah, they know each other. They know each other intimately. They've played against them twice already. Like they know what they do well. They know what they don't do well. It's gonna be a really good game. Washington has impressed me. I mean, probably impressed all of us. Yeah. Jaden Daniels, he's a real deal, man. He is a real deal. He doesn't get rattled. He's got a strong arm. He could run with the ball. Between him and McLaurin, and
they're converting at like an 87% clip on fourth down.
It's crazy how good he is. It's crazy how good he is. De'Ami Brown, like everybody's kind of chipping in on that offense. I mean, Eagles defense is fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
I feel like the Eagles are gonna have to do some different stuff against them defensively. Like I just don't think they could come out and run exactly what they always run against him. I think they have to do things that they normally wouldn't do, just to show him different looks. And I think you have to account for him physically on the field all the time. Maybe change who's doing it. Yeah. So Washington doesn't know at which point which guy is playing spy on him, but I think you have to account for him. But the Eagles like to play like rush 4 and kind of like the D-line is responsible for the quarterback. And that's scary. That's scary, man, because if you get past those D linemen, there's a lot of field because they play with 2 safeties. Guys are deep. Like you can run dudes off, and then there's just field. Daniel's one-on-one with a linebacker. It's scary.
Yeah. Daniel's, Slay,
Quinyon Mitchell got hurt in the game. They say he's going to play this week, but I would probably put Slay on Scary Terry. I would probably play a lot more man than zone. And if I played zone, I would have a spy on Daniels.
Yeah,
but they gotta the whole point is to run the ball, time of possession, keep Jaden Daniels off the field. You're always scoring points, make them have to come from behind. Your defense gets to just get after the passer and like you close it out. That's the formula.
It's interesting. I think I mentioned this last year when my Niners lost. Sorry, it's the emotions. When they lost last year, and the thing I always remember the most is when they went into overtime and they kicked that field goal, and they panned that camera over to Mahomes, and Mahomes looked like he was watching the backups play in Game 3 of the preseason. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, we're in trouble." I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna win this one. Like just. Honest, like honest thought, honest thought on that moment, and
ice cold.
And honestly, and I mean, mind you, it's a divisional game, but when they panned to Daniels on that bench, he had that same look.
He did,
and I went, oh boy, I'm like, I recognize that look because that look, he looked like it was like the game was over and he was just waiting for the time to run out so that he can go shake hands with the other quarterback. Like they already had the game in hand. Like that's how he looked. I mean, they're only up like 7 at the time in the second quarter. And I'm like, ooh, I remember that look. I'm like, ooh, that is a problem. You know what I mean? For him to be that poised and have that kind of like poise about him already, and then to make it to really understand where he's coming from too. I don't know if you guys seen this, but I read this article this week about. Did you see that thing with him with the VR?
Yeah,
you've seen that, right? Like I didn't know about that. So basically, he trains
every morning.
Yeah, with the VR goggles, and it's at 1.75 speed, and like it's basically taking you through literally like every scenario. It's almost like it's like uploading information, like he's like a computer. So
he's constantly seeing it.
Yeah,
so he knows what to do in those moments. So when it happens in a game, he knows he's not thinking anymore. He's reacting.
It's familiar to him. Yeah. I'm like, holy cow!
Like I said, I told you guys from the beginning of the season, this guy's a pocket passer. I watched him when he was at Arizona. He was a pocket passer when he was 18 years old. Like, I didn't even know him as a runner, as a guy who could run, until he went to LSU, and I was like, what is this? He did it, showed little glimpse, but what he did at LSU was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, like his first years in Arizona State, he just sat there and ripped the ball, man. That's what he did. He's a pocket passer. I was like, this guy has a chance to play in the NFL. And then he added the or maybe he just grew into himself and he got bigger and faster, and like he added that to his game. Bigger. And
he got taller.
Like, I think in height, like 6'4", you know what I mean? Like,
it's funny because you just said that. My shout out to B, but it's my cousin's cousin I think he was on the O line for LSU that year, like this last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and but Brian went to the game, and I remember they stormed the field because I forgot who they were playing, but he stormed the field. I remember his Instagram story, but he stormed the field because Jaden McDaniels threw like a game-winning touchdown pass at the buzzer. You know what I mean? And they ended up storming the field, but it was like C's been on it. To your point, like he's been on it since then. Like this is not a fluke. Like I said, I don't watch college football like that, but. Yeah, I recognize that look. That when I read that article about the VR training, I'm like, oh man, like.
And I'll be honest, Jaden Daniels has more overall skills than Jalen Hurts does.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a better passer than Lamar right now in terms of accuracy.
You know what's crazy? Like the whole thing with Tom Brady is Tom Brady was never the most athletic, but he had a situation where he's seen every defense, he's seen every sort of alignment and so on, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like with the new technology now, Jaden he's downloading this shit into his head every single morning, like every different variation, every single defense, every different scenario, and then he's going on the field and it translates. Like, why isn't all the rookies doing this? Why isn't all the rookie quarterbacks doing this?
Listen, that's gonna take off.
It's changed.
If it hasn't already, it will now.
It's going to take off.
Yeah. I know they were talking about Drake May was doing that, but I don't think anybody is really like that. That is key, man. That is key.
You know what
right. He has like
you know what that confirms is repetition.
Yeah.
Getting reps. He's getting mental reps, right?
Mental reps, yeah.
Just like those quarterbacks in college that stay more than 2-3 years, they're getting reps. They're seeing things. They're doing different offenses, adjustments. Like, it matters. It matters. Reps matter. The more reps you can get, even if it's mental, are gonna help you. And I know, Kelsey, when you were in high school, you were practicing post moves in your basement.
Yeah, I was, and ball handling and everything.
Practicing shooting my basketball in the bed, up in the air. Form, right? Like, reps. That stuff matters.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Jaden Daniels is scary, bro. Jaden Daniels is scary. Scary. Yeah. But I think it's on the offense. It's on the Eagles' offense to keep him off the field because he's gonna get his.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if the Eagles just shut him down, and they're not that type of. They don't just shut you down, right? Like they actually give up yards.
Yeah, they give you a chance.
It's over time. They just wear on you, and because their offense is doing what they're doing, it forces you to try to rush and push, and then that's how they get you. Look at last week. The Eagles were the best defense, but they gave up over 300 yards to Stafford, a late drive. They gave gave up 100 yards, and I said that the Rams scared me because they could run the ball. If they run the ball and they have play action and they can hit intermediate spots, that's exactly what the Eagles give up. But in the end, the Eagles are opportunistic on defense, fumbles. They should have had a couple picks. Slay should have had a pick that he dropped. Isaiah Mitchell, is it Mitchell? Came in, and remember he jumped for that pick, and then the receiver pulled it out of his hands.
Yeah. That was off that long pass. I remember that. Yeah. Those they had their opportunities for sure, man.
They give up yards. They give up yards, man. Just the way they play. But it's like I said, the Eagles are a team. They play complementary football. There's a way that they win games.
Yeah. They
have a formula. They're going to run their formula, and it's up to the other team to force them out of it. Is Washington be able to stop the run? No one has been able to stop the run.
Nobody's going to be able to stop the run, but they're 30th. They're the third worst. They're the third worst defensive team in the league when it comes to the rush, right? And I mean, the two games that Barkley had, he's accumulated almost 300 yards, right?
It's crazy.
So
can Saquon go off and the Eagles still lose?
I think if they can keep him to it sounds funny to say this, but if they can keep him to around 100 yards,
it's a win.
It's a win. They can keep him to around 100 yards, it's a win. And make him work for those 100 yards, it's a win, because I don't think he's going to get less than 100. But if they can keep him to 100 yards, that's a win for them, at least in that category. At least they're giving themselves a better chance to win. I still think Hurts is the X factor. Because I think
how hurt is he?
That's the issue.
How hurt is he?
That's the issue.
If AJ catches that bomb for a touch, hit him in the chest, and he dropped it, that's another 40 yards and a touchdown. He dropped 2 balls in that game.
Yeah, he's been dropping a lot of balls.
Yeah. I still feel like they need to try to get him involved early, because he's the kind of guy that when he's not involved, that's when you finally go to him, he'll drop the ball because he hasn't touched the ball in forever. And he probably didn't think the ball was coming to him. And it's oh, shoot, it's here.
Exactly. Star players, especially like that.
Screens, throw him a couple slants, even a reverse, just to give him a touch.
Yeah.
Devontae doesn't listen, man. I love the Slim Reaper, man. This guy, he goes out there and blocks. He doesn't care if he's getting. He wants to win. Of course, he's a receiver. He wants to catch the ball, but he was mic'd up a couple times this year, and he's just we're going out here and blocking, boys. Let's go.
He's a real football player.
Yeah,
Any football he gets, he doesn't have to be catching the ball. He could be blocking. He could be doing anything.
And when it's time, he's usually comes up big.
Yeah,
comes up big.
AJ Brown, man. Well, listen, I see this guy. I see my man on the bench reading a book.
He's trying to keep his hands bro because he's frustrated.
Yeah, you can tell. He's heated. He wants the ball.
Yeah.
So I mean, when he finally gets that big shot and he gets that ball, he's almost surprised that he's getting it.
Yeah. It's funny because I read that the same way. The sign of they're oh, he keeps his head clear, it keeps him focused in the game. I'm
no, but that's why it does keep him focused.
Yeah, because he wants to go.
If he didn't have that book, he would be on the sideline, grumbling, pissed off. I want the ball. Dude's not throwing me the ball, talking shit to somebody. You know what I mean? At least he's gonna go sit, read some passages, calm down, clear his mind. So that's maturity on his end, because he understands it's not just about him.
Exactly.
But as a man, he's that's why he's reading that book. It's giving him peace.
Yeah, he wants to be involved. He wants to catch those passes. He wants
to. He blocks his ass off too.
Yeah.
He blocks his ass off too. He does his job on the field for sure.
And he's a stud. He's a
stud. They need to get him involved, get him some touches early, pound the rock.
No, he's a stud. Sorry. Shout out to my nephew right now. Shout out to Jalen right now. Sorry, I just have to say this in the middle of the pod because we're doing this. I'm not really watching the game, but it's like I'm like we're doing this. I'm trying to multitask a little bit in this sense, only because he's having the best game of the season so far, and it's on ESPN. I think he's got like 18-7 right now.
There you go.
As we're talking, so I'm like, so shout out to Jalen. Shout out to Jalen, man. I got to shout him out there. I'm looking at the stats. I'm like, damn. I'm like, he's hooping.
That is a nice game. That's a nice game.
Right. Very nice. Yeah, that's a good game.
Yeah, he's hooping. But with that said, we're well. I know. I'm not even gonna ask Kerry who he's going for, who he thinks is gonna win. I'm not even asking him.
No,
Roger,
you can ask me now. You can ask me now.
No, I ain't asking. Roger,
no, sure, ask me, please.
No.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Feathers everywhere. Roger, who do you got?
Shameless plug, Kerry. Shameless plug.
Weapon X.
Yeah, I gotta go for the Eagles, man. I still think that they're gonna win. I think they're gonna squeeze it through. I mean, I love Washington. I love what they're doing. And division games are always tricky. They're always competitive. So I think it's gonna be a tight game, but I think the Eagles are gonna pull it off. I think when it comes down to it, they have Saquon. And unfortunately, what the Eagles does well, Washington does not do well.
Yeah.
They can't defend the run, and Saquon he's on a tear, man. He is on a tear.
They got to play inspired. That defense, especially, got to be inspired on Sunday to shut down Barkley.
I agree.
I think honestly, you kind of have to leave it in. Especially, I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but you got to leave that in Hurts' hands. I'd rather Hurts beat you. At this point.
I think this is the reason why they traded for Lattimore. They're gonna play man-to-man, cover zero, and they're gonna blitz, and they're gonna have even a spy on Saquon, and they're just gonna say, Jalen Hurts beat us from the pocket.
100%. I agree.
And this is why when that trade happened.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say this is why when the trade happened, I'm like, oh, they kind of going for it.
Yeah.
You know, I know he's not the same quarterback he was a couple of years ago, but he's still solid.
Yeah, he's a quality. He's a very good
quality. Yeah, hell yeah. So that's what I'm gonna say. I'm like, oh, they kind of going for it.
Oh, and you got Wagner in there, Super Bowl champ, been to the Super Bowl a couple times.
Yeah,
Luvu's a beast. Their D line is tough. Fowler and was it Allen? D lineman? Is it Allen?
Yeah,
it's gonna be a physical game, man. It's gonna be physical.
And this is why and again, at this stage, this is why I'm saying the Eagles are gonna win too. It's just same thing. It's kind of it just is their time right now. This season, it's kind of destined to for it to happen. Washington is playing with house money. You know what I mean? And I mean that can make you dangerous too, especially when it's against a division rival. It can make you dangerous too.
They're dangerous because of their quarterback.
100%, but it's house money they're playing with. So it's if they lose, it's listen, I'm happy either way because black quarterbacks. So, it's I always say, black actors of the Dave Chappelle show. That's the Wayne Brady app. You know what I mean? I'm always I'm two black quarterbacks playing against each other. I'm not mad either way, but I think Philly, it's a better story if Philly makes. Actually, it's a good story either way, but I think it's Philly's time. You could just, you feel it.
But could you imagine? Could you imagine if Washington goes to the Super Bowl?
Oh my God!
With a rookie quarterback?
Well, Carrie's smashing that diploma right behind him.
That's
Carrie's setting that on fire.
Right over my knee.
you gotta videotape you destroying your TV, Carrie.
No, I won't do that.
You ain't doing that. You're too old to be that foolish.
I might flip the table. I'll flip the table.
But with that said, to wrap up though, the last question I want to ask you guys is what player outside of the Chiefs, I'm not going to include the Chiefs in this, but what player has a chance to in your eyes to get legendary status if they win the Super Bowl?
Saquon. Yeah.
I got 3. I got him. I definitely got him. Especially when you compare and contrast that last season versus this season, like, you know, where he has a chance to win the MVP too, and 2,000 yards and all that. That's a great story.
I don't think
Josh Allen's a great story because he's MVP level, and you know, like he has a chance to do something that Jim Kelly couldn't do. You know what I mean? Jim Kelly tried 4 times. Right? Sorry?
That would be Buffalo's first.
That would be Buffalo's first if they win, yeah.
No, that would be legendary, man.
That would be legendary.
It's Mahomes.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I said. I'm not including the Chiefs because we already know what that is. Yeah. And then I think the other one is who we just talked about, Jaden Daniels. For a rookie to come in off a 4-win team, take your team to the Super Bowl and win.
It.
And then the second black quarterback in that franchise since Doug Williams.
Is he the first? Would he be the first rookie to ever win a Super Bowl?
That's a great question.
It hasn't happened since I started watching.
I don't think it's. I've never seen that before. I think that might be. That would be legendary. And that, like, Washington is the East Coast. You know, they're just above the Mason-Dixon line, but that is a football city. You know what I mean? So for that and that rich history too, because I mean they've won chips in that city. You know what I mean?
Those friends went through it, man, with that Dan Snyder.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
so no rookie quarterback has won or even started in a Super Bowl.
Hasn't even started.
Wow.
According to Google.
So it's legendary.
It would be legendary. Yeah.
It's legendary, 100%. And on top of that, like, man, if he ends up like say that was to happen, he ends up winning the Super Bowl too. I mean, he's already going to change the game with the whole VR technology. Like I said, if it's already not happening, he would be kind of mirroring the footsteps of one of the minority owners of the Commanders, Magic Johnson, because you know, as a rookie, you know, he ended up helping to carry the Lakers to the title. You know, Kareem was the man. Kareem was God at that point, but Magic was like 1A, and then. You know, Kareem, the legendary story. Kareem. Sorry?
Magic, didn't he go like play center in the first game? And
no, game 6 of the NBA Finals, he played center because Kareem was hurt. Yeah, and then had that legendary so that's one of the greatest games ever played, even to this day. You know what I mean? And he did it as a rookie. So, you know, like he's got a little mentorship in terms of the pressure, like how to handle pressure in that moment with somebody. I know it's a different sport, but. No, you know, you can share info with each other. High level IQ. So you could still share that. So I mean, that would be crazy if he was to do that, and I would be happy to see it. Like I think all the stories are great. You know what I mean? Like Mahomes, again, black quarterback getting 3 repeating something that's never been done in the league before.
That'd be insane.
I can't get mad at that, man.
And dominance.
Can't be mad at that.
Dominance. Yeah. Since he started for KC, it's been Super Bowl or divisional, the conference final.
Conference championship, yeah. Conference championship or bust, minimum conference championship. But to have 4 Super Bowls before the age of 30?
If I remember correctly, the only one who actually stopped him was the Pats, and then it was Cincinnati and the Bucks in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl.
Aside from that, he's rolled over every other team he's gone against.
And that's another thing that's going to hold him back from becoming the GOAT. Is that Brady. In the head-to-head, Brady beat you.
Twice. Yeah, twice.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Right? He beat you.
Yeah.
He beat you.
And he was at the tail end, and he still beat you.
He even admits it, too, though. That's one thing I'll give Patrick Mahomes. He admits it. Like he says it, he's like, how can I ever be a GOAT? I've never beaten Brady. He's literally said it. So I mean, but hey,
kudos to him.
He would help.
Yeah.
No, three puts him in the discussion for sure.
100%.
100%. Brady hasn't done it. Montana hasn't done it. What's his name? Terry Bradshaw hasn't done it. You know what I mean? Like
even if Mahomes gets to the Super Bowl and doesn't win it, just getting to the Super Bowl puts him in that conversation.
Yeah, that's huge. It hasn't been done.
It's dominance.
It hasn't been done. I don't even think even getting to the Super Bowl has been as a 3-peat. Like, yeah. Nobody. No, but I'm saying like to be like the closest team that's done it was the Patriots, the 49ers in terms of going back to back and winning the 3-peat. But all of them have lost in like the playoffs or the conference championship. You know, Dallas is another one too. They lost to my Niners. Like it's tough to get back to this. So you're right. So just even getting to the Super Bowl is a major accomplishment.
It is.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's a major accomplishment.
Hard to do, man. Really
hard. Man. But fellas, listen, man. Thank you once again, man, for repping. This guy is dressed to the nines. I can't fault you. That was me last year. The only difference is last year when we did the Super Bowl, like when we did the post game, Raj, like there was some tears on my Niners jersey. That was the only difference. I had to wipe it quick before I put on the video.
It looked a little damp. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I had to wipe it quick before I put Visine in my eyes before I popped the video on.
Yeah, man, I'm here for this one this year. Last year I was in Vegas.
Yeah, which is still a great time too.
I was contemplating calling from the pool party, but
I wish you did. That would have been jokes. I wish you did.
Yo, that would have been good.
That would have been hilarious.
Okay, bring him over here.